that to Greg's and your point, the attention span thing. I think guys like that could get over in a house show, but they would be really, really, really tested to do it in a television environment.
Shout out to some. Oh, go ahead.
Got a question there for us?
Let's see here. I did want to some shout outs to some folks. John here says hello from Kingsport, Tennessee. Big AWA fan and NWA. So good to have you here on board here, John.
Good. Glad to have him on board.
JB, hello, Dom, Greg, and Magnum. So yeah, little Patty has joined us too. My cat is not in the house, thank goodness. I think he's sleeping. I'm not going to try to disturb him.
You didn't put him outside in the cold, did you?
No, I would never would do that. But so yes, here's let's see what this one says. Oh, here's an interesting one. Eggsy Trek Jedi. Any thoughts on how Thesz and Bruno Sammartino were as pros, and if they'd get over today? Greg, let's start with you on that one. Any thoughts? That's a pretty interesting question. Well,
they both had a slow and methodical way of delivering a match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they would.
Yeah.
It'd be, if they could adapt to, I guess, speeding up the match a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when TV does a lot of, they want to know what people, when they're turning the channel. You know what the attention span of the American public is right now before they turn the channel? I told you that before.
Oh, yeah. 8 seconds.
8 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So, unless, and when you watch wrestling today, it's moving pretty fast. Boom, 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 boom. And it has to keep the attention of the public before they go click.
Yeah.
So wrestling has, just gone along with it and made it a quicker and more fascinating matches than I guess they would back in that time. And to say if they could come in, I'm sure they could adapt to it, because they were both good athletes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think they could.
Yeah. Magnum, what do you think?
It would depend on, it really wouldn't depend on what they're physically capable of. It would depend on their mindset.
Yeah.
So physically, they're certainly capable of, doing some amazing things. But if they couldn't fast forward their brain to the audience change, and the difference in society, and that, to Greg's and your point, the attention span thing. I think guys like that could get over in a house show, but they would be really, really, really tested to do it in a television environment.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could tell the story in the building that would get the people's get them, because the psychology is still the psychology, and they could get them feeling what they were portraying, but it'd be very difficult on a television thing that's just got to be so spot on and having to memorize a match. That would be that'd be a painful thing for me.
Oh, shit, me too. I can never do that.
I mean, my hat's off to them that they do that. And I've heard stars of today's, some of them, make little of the fact that, you couldn't even remember a match. And I said, well, you couldn't even work if I, put a gun to your head. But, but that it's not a fair comparison, because it's just like being somebody who's a trained thespian and an actor on a stage, and can go learn the words and the script and deliver it in such a way that it's, it just grips people. I respect that. And that's something special to that. What we did was totally an improv in the round, and we accomplished the same thing. And did it take different skills than what they, have to implement? 100%. And some people never got it. I mean, some people
Yeah.
were a good dance partner with somebody else that could kind of lead them through it, but they really couldn't do it on their own. And and that's the little weird nuances, because I feel like people like Randy Orton and Seth and Cody, and there's a a group of people within that nucleus that could work that style and do that.
Mhm.
If that was something somebody said do, they could do it tomorrow. There's some that would be like deer in the headlights, and what do you mean? We'll call it in the ring.
Yeah.
No, it just wouldn't be, they'd be too much fish out of water. But again, the stylization that somebody becomes comfortable in, you've got to have people on point, and they have to be at an exact place at an exact time, so neither one of you get killed.
Right.
Because the things they're doing, involves both people, reacting to it. So it's it's evolution. It's like I enjoy watching modern movies, and even the movies that I love so much back in the day, John Wayne and Clint Eastwood and Charles Bronson. They don't keep my interest anymore.
Yeah.
I can't. They're not edgy. They don't. They need a they need a modern twist to them to get me to want to watch them. So I'm a victim of it too. We're all spoiled by what all the stuff we stream on our phones and in our homes, and watch, and AI, things that can do the impossible. So our expectation level is so high today. I think it would scare to death somebody like somebody from back in the 50s and 60s, just looking at it and not being ingrained in it. It would be like they'd gone to another planet.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. It's true. It's like, I think guys like Thesz or Bruno and things like that, I certainly think that they could fit in today's ecoscape, but you'd have to have the consideration of like, okay, they'd have to be modernized into the world that we are today, because like, Bruno, his fighting style was so different, and that WWE style back then was like punch, kick,
and kick.
like,
yeah,
punch and kick to everything like that. So it's like, if he were to been put into the modern day, he would have been trained a certain different way and learned a certain different form. And like, plus you got to think about the cultural times that it was. Like, Bruno was a big everyman, kind of identity, where he identified with a lot of ethnic backgrounds when it comes to like the Italian,
the dock workers, and
exactly. And so like, that's why he was such a huge star too, in a lot of ways, was because of that. Now, could that transition in a different manner? I think so, but it would just be an interesting kind of thing to definitely look at. So Lou Thesz obviously is such a
Lou
pro.
would have to be like Gunther.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say too. Is like, if you want to look at somebody, look at Gunther right now, because that Lou Thesz would fit that role too, or like a Cesaro or somebody in that there as well.